All right, we're going to start with Kanye West pushing Kim Kardashian closer and closer to the edge in this battle over their kid.
And they said they wondered if this is all just an act, which I would not be surprised. I would not be surprised if Kanye's, got the puppet strings going. And
he has never been one to shy away from controversy, but this time he's ventured into territory that even his most loyal supporters are struggling to comprehend. The man who once dominated headlines with his groundbreaking music and eccentric fashion sense has turned the spotlight onto his darkest, most personal secrets, and the world is left reeling. With a single tweet and a song release, Ye set fire to the internet, exposing layers of trauma and dysfunction that have left fans, critics, and mental health professionals grappling to make sense of it all. And while his shocking confession about his childhood has drawn widespread condemnation and disbelief, it's also opened the floodgates to a storm of speculation, outrage, and deeply uncomfortable questions about the man behind the headlines.
Because she has made this very clear, she wants her kids to have a relationship with their father. She's not trying to stand in the way of that. But when he says things like this, at some point, she has to be thinking, I don't know if this is good for our kids to be around this.
It all started with a tweet, a single unhinged post that sent shockwaves through social media. In it, Ye confessed to something so graphic, so disturbing that many questioned whether it was even real. He claimed to have had an inappropriate relationship with his male cousin during their childhood, a revelation that was not only deeply unsettling, but also tied to a new song he released called Cousins. The track, loaded with explicit lyrics, painted a picture of early exposure to explicit material and a twisted reenactment of what he had seen. My name is Ye, and I my cousin's D till I was 14, the tweet read, alongside a snippet of the song. The internet erupted. Fans who had stuck by Ye through years of erratic behavior, from his infamous award show interruptions to his controversial political statements, suddenly found themselves at a loss. Was this some kind of performance art? A desperate cry for help? Or just another publicity stunt designed to keep him in the headlines? The lyrics of Cousins only deepened the confusion. In the song, Ye raps about discovering explicit magazines in his mother's closet, about seeing things he wasn't old enough to understand, and about how those images shaped the relationship with his cousin. We seen some dudes kiss, and we ain't know what that stuff mean. Then we start reenacting everything that we had seen. He raps, his voice eerily calm against a haunting instrumental backdrop. It's not just a song, it's a confession, a window into a childhood marked by confusion, boundary violations, and a lack of understanding that left scars he seems unable to hide.
Interesting to wonder whether this will affect his relationship with his wife or if she knows about this.
But here's the thing, he didn't stop there. As if the tweet and the song weren't explosive enough, he doubled down, sharing even more details on social media. He claimed to have found the magazines in his late mother's closet, the same mother he once immortalized in his music and named his fashion empire after. And in a twist that left everyone scratching their heads, he suggested that his mother may have been hiding secrets of her own, even hinting that she might have been romantically involved with women. My dad had Playboy magazines, but the magazines I found in the top of my mom's closet were different, Ye tweeted, leaving the internet to fill in the blanks. Was this another layer of West's truth? Or just another provocative statement designed to spark controversy? As the backlash poured in, West fans and critics alike began dissecting his every word, trying to understand the man behind the confession. Many pointed to his history of mental health struggles, noting that Ye himself has admitted to being diagnosed with conditions that affect his behavior. But others saw something darker at play. Some speculated that West's revelations were a calculated attempt to shock the public to keep his name trending in an era where controversy equals clicks. After all, this wasn't the first time he had used his personal life as fodder for his art. But this time, it felt different. This time, the stakes were higher.
Second option, I have you institutionalized again, where they medicate the crap out of you and you go back to zombie land forever.
Adding fuel to the fire was West's apparent refusal to acknowledge the gravity of his words. Instead of apologizing or clarifying his statements, he seemed to revel in the chaos he had created. He posted cryptic tweets about freedom of expression, about the power of truth, and about how society isn't ready to hear the things he has to say. The truth will set you free someday, he wrote, echoing a line from Cousins. But for many, the question wasn't about truth. It was about responsibility. Should you be allowed to make such inflammatory statements without facing consequences? And what about the people in his life who might be affected by his words, like his cousin, whose name he has so far refused to reveal?
We get to a point where we don't think that Kanye West can shock us anymore, and then he says something that is so shocking, so alarming. It's one thing to go after Kim, say whatever you want, I guess. It's his ex-wife. It's horrible, but he says it. to say things that will redound against the kids is just unforgivable. I mean, we've been through this so many times. We say it all the time. Wearing the Nazi shirt is unforgivable. The Klan hood itself.
The fallout from West's confession didn't just affect his fans. It also sent shockwaves through his personal life. His ex-wife, Kim Kardashian, has reportedly been grappling with how to protect their 4 children from the media circus surrounding their father. Sources close to the reality star claim that she was blindsided by West's latest revelations and is deeply concerned about their impact on their family. Kim's priority is the well-being and safety of her children, one insider said. She wants to shield them from all of this. And who could blame her? With West's tweets making headlines around the world and his song Cousins racking up streams despite its controversial content, it's hard to imagine how Kim or anyone else in West's orbit could escape the fallout. But the drama doesn't end there. Just as the public was beginning to process West's shocking confession, another layer of controversy emerged, this time involving his recent divorce from Bianca Censori. The couple, who tied the knot in a private ceremony shortly after West's split from Kardashian was finalized, seemed to be on the rocks almost from the start. And when he released a new song called Bianca, it became clear just how messy their breakup had been. The track, filled with cryptic lyrics and veiled accusations, paints a picture of a relationship marred by mistrust, betrayal, and the lingering effects of West's public scandals. My baby. She ran away. But first, she tried to get me committed. Ye raps referencing Censori's alleged attempts to have him institutionalized. It's a bold claim, one that Censori has yet to address publicly. But if West's goal was to keep the public talking, it worked. The song also sheds light on West's feelings about his recent controversies, suggesting that he sees himself as a victim of a system designed to silence him. They want me locked up. He raps, his voice dripping with defiance. They want me to go on retreat. It's a sentiment that echoes many of West's recent statements, in which he has claimed to be misunderstood, targeted, and persecuted by those in power. But while West's lyrics may resonate with his most devoted fans, they've done little to sway public opinion. If anything, they've only added to the growing chorus of voices calling for Ye to take accountability for his actions.
You already made everybody think I'm crazy. You already took my family away. You already separated all my friends. I don't got no celebrity friends.
And yet, despite the backlash, Ye shows no signs of slowing down. If anything, his recent controversies seem to have emboldened him, fueling a relentless drive to push boundaries and challenge societal norms. Whether it's through his music, his tweets, or his public appearances, Ye seems determined to keep the world guessing. But at what cost? For every fan who sees him as a misunderstood genius, there are countless others who view him as a ticking time bomb, a man whose penchant for controversy threatens to overshadow his once illustrious career. As the dust settles on West's latest revelations, one thing is clear. This is only the beginning. With so many unanswered questions and unresolved tensions, the spotlight on Ye isn't going anywhere. And as the world waits to see what he'll do next, one can't help but wonder, how far is he willing to go? And what's waiting for him on the other side?
Yeah, and you know, the thing about the kids at some point here, and not for the younger ones, it's at some point. For North, it's right now. Right? That even if she doesn't see it, even if somehow Kim is able to keep that away from her, the kids her friends at school, they're gonna know about it, they're gonna see it, and it puts the kids in a horrible situation.
And just when you thought the chaos couldn't spiral any further, Ye seemed determined to prove that no scandal is too volatile, no boundary too sacred to shatter. As the fallout from his explosive revelations about his past continued to ripple through the public sphere, Ye set his sights on a new and highly controversial angle: his unrelenting support of one of the most disgraced figures in the entertainment industry, Diddy Combs. It wasn't just a casual show of solidarity. It was a full-throated, unapologetic defense of a man whose reputation had already been dragged through the mud. And in true Ye fashion, he had no problem dragging his own daughter into the mess, throwing fuel onto an already raging inferno. The situation began to escalate when Ye, seemingly undeterred by the public backlash surrounding his own confessions, made waves with the release of a new track titled Lonely Roads Still Go to Sunshine. At first glance, it might have seemed like yet another of West's genre-defying musical experiments. But this wasn't just any song. It was a collaboration with none other than Diddy, a man currently at the center of a storm of legal and moral accusations. The track also featured vocals from West's daughter, Northwest, whose involvement immediately raised eyebrows. If West's goal was to ignite controversy, he succeeded beyond his wildest expectations.
I came here today just to tell the truth, so hopefully we can get down to the bottom of this. I'm 100%, the charges against me are 100% false, and hopefully due to time, we'll start to see that.
The inclusion of Diddy in the song was a bold, some might say reckless, move. The former music mogul is currently embroiled in what can only be described as one of the most scandalous legal battles in modern memory. allegations of misconduct, racketeering, and exploitation have turned Diddy from a celebrated industry titan into a pariah. Yet, in his infinite capacity for disregarding public opinion, chose this moment to stand by him. Not just stand by him, amplify him, glorify him, and in a move that left May speechless, align his own family with Diddy's tarnished image. It was a decision that baffled even West's most devoted supporters. Was this loyalty? Was it defiance? Or was it something far darker? But let's not gloss over the details of this partnership. In the opening seconds of the track, Ye included what appeared to be a recorded phone call between himself and Diddy. The conversation was bizarre, to say the least. Diddy, speaking from a detention center, seemed to warn Ye about enemies lurking in the shadows, people trying to end us. Yeah, for his part, responded with a mixture of agreement and bravado, as if the two were soldiers on the same battlefield. The call, leaked to the public, sparked immediate outrage. Critics accused Ye of glamorizing a man facing some of the most serious accusations imaginable. Supporters of Diddy, meanwhile, questioned whether the call had been recorded and shared without his consent. Either way, it was a media bombshell that detonated across social platforms within minutes.
In her civil lawsuit, Cassie said that she was the victim of abuse, assault, and at the hands of Diddy.
And then there was North. Her brief but noticeable feature on the track sent shockwaves through both the music world and the parenting community. For Kim Kardashian, this was nothing short of a nightmare. Sources close to the reality star revealed that she had gone to great lengths to prevent the song's release, reportedly filing legal paperwork and issuing cease and desist letters in a desperate attempt to shield her daughter from the fallout. But true to form, ignored her pleas and dropped the track anyway. For many, this wasn't just a case of bad judgment. It was a deeply unsettling display of Ye using his own child as a pawn in his ongoing feud with Kim. The question on everyone's lips was simple: how far is too far? And if that were enough, West's defense of Diddy didn't stop at the song. In a series of social media posts, he lashed out at critics, accusing them of hypocrisy and cowardice. All these celebrity people are fake, he wrote in one particularly incendiary post. I'll sit back and let them destroy a man who's done more for this culture than any of you ever will. The irony of West's statements wasn't lost on anyone. Here was a man who had spent the better part of the past year alienating nearly everyone in his professional and personal life, now positioning himself as the moral compass of the entertainment industry. It was the kind of audacity that only Ye could muster.
Diddy would be throwing all his celebrity mates under the bus.
I mean, that could potentially be coming when it's time for court and when it's time for him to testify. But what we're seeing right now is how important public relations really are to Sean Combs. He's desperately trying to control the narrative behind bars, allowing his attorneys to do documentaries and TV hits.
But let's not forget who he is defending here. Sean Diddy Combs, once a symbol of success and opulence, has become a lightning rod for controversy. The accusations against him are not just damaging, they're the kind of allegations that can ruin lives and dismantle legacies. And while Diddy has denied the claims and vowed to clear his name, the court of public opinion has already rendered its verdict. For Ye to align himself so publicly with Diddy at this moment, to bring his own daughter into the narrative, is a move that defies logic. It's either the ultimate act of loyalty or a calculated gamble that could cost him everything. The legal battle surrounding Diddy reads like a script torn straight from the most salacious courtroom drama imaginable. Federal prosecutors have built their case on a mountain of damning evidence ranging from victim testimonies to financial records allegedly linking him to a sprawling network of exploitation. The most shocking element: the accusations paint a picture of someone who didn't just operate in the shadows but actively used his fame and power as a shield. Reports detail how lavish parties at his various estates allegedly served as fronts for far darker dealings, with witnesses claiming that the music mogul manipulated his influence to lure vulnerable individuals. If even a fraction of these allegations holds weight, it's not just Diddy's career that's at stake, it's everything he's built over decades in the public eye.
A US judge has ruled that the rapper and producer Sean Diddy Combs will stand trial on federal trafficking and racketeering charges in May. He'll be held in prison until then. Sean Combs has pleaded not guilty to charges that he used his business empire to transport women and male workers across state lines to take part in recorded performances. If convicted, he could face a life sentence. David Willis reports.
Adding to the firestorm are the allegations made by Cassie Ventura, Diddy's former long-term partner, whose lawsuit against him sent shockwaves through the industry. Ventura's claims are as detailed as they are harrowing, alleging years of mistreatment that left her emotionally and psychologically scarred. Her decision to speak out has emboldened others to come forward, creating what some are calling a domino effect of revelations. But Diddy's legal team has wasted no time mounting a defense, portraying Ventura as opportunistic and motivated by financial gain. The courtroom theatrics have only heightened the media frenzy, with both sides trading accusations in a battle that feels as much about public opinion as it is about justice. For Ye to align himself so publicly with Diddy at this moment, to bring his own daughter into the narrative, raises the stakes in a way that feels almost reckless. And then there's the theory that West's actions are part of something bigger, something more insidious. Over the years, Ye has made no secret of his belief in grand conspiracies, his conviction that the entertainment industry is a web of control and manipulation. He's spoken at length about Hollywood sacrifices, about the ways in which powerful figures are allegedly silenced or destroyed when they step out of line. Could it be that Ye sees himself and Diddy as victims of the same invisible forces? Is this partnership his way of pushing back against a system he believes is rigged? Or is it simply another chapter in West's long history of deflecting blame and courting controversy?
You get what I'm saying? They could control Shaq. They could control Charles Barkley. They could control LeBron James.
One thing is clear. West's latest moves have left the public more divided than ever. On one side are those who see him as a misunderstood genius, a man willing to risk everything to speak his truth. On the other are those who view him as a reckless provocateur, a man whose need for attention outweighs any concern for the consequences of his actions. And somewhere in the middle are people like Kim Kardashian, caught in the crossfire of West's increasingly erratic behavior. And yet, as the drama unfolds, one can't help but feel that this is far from over. Ye has never been one to back down, and with so many questions still unanswered, it seems likely that the story will only get messier from here. What will happen to his relationship with Kim and their children? Will Diddy's legal troubles drag you down with him? And perhaps, most importantly, how much more is he willing to risk in his quest to rewrite the narrative? Let us know what you think down below, and we'll see you in the next one.